Good morning. We are St. Andrew's Episcopal School from Jackson, Mississippi. These are most of my students in the upper school that are in that class. And we are going to kind of do an Irish traditional dance lecture demonstration for you. I'd like to start with something that I think resonates with everyone. Generally speaking, I think when people think of Irish dance, river dance comes to mind. But there's a whole history of Irish traditional dance that paved the road to river dance, which had its roots in the 1994 Eurovision Song Competition. That's actually a real thing. If anybody's seen the 2020 Netflix release of the Eurovision Song Contest, the story of Fire Saga, have you seen that with Will Ferrell and Pierce Brosnan? It was based on the actual Eurovision Song Contest, and which has been held annually, except for 2020 because of COVID, since 1956, making it the longest running annual international television music competition and one of the world's longest running television programs. But in 1994, the interval performance, aka the halftime performance, was a snippet of what was to come. It was a 6-minute performance, which was the highlight of the whole evening, that was so well received, it turned into a 2-act musical 9 months later and is still touring today. The popularity of this show globalized Irish dance. Folks all over the world were reaching out to Irish dancing teachers saying that they wanted to know how to river dance. So river dance actually incorporates a few sub-styles of Irish dance, tap dance and even Spanish flamenco. But most people, when thinking of river dance, evoke the image of a row of dancers, arms by their side, feet moving frantically precise. Similar to the Rockettes, when they perform, several dancers performing in sync is always very impressive. But actually, even though there are several dancers in that line in river dance, it's actually an example of solo dancing in the Irish traditions. So not only do we see solo dancing in shows and performances, but also in competitions. In fact, Fesciana, which is the Irish word for competition, or Irish dance competition, is actually where you can probably see most solo or step dancing. So Irish traditional dance is broadly divided into 2 categories: solo or step dancing and group or social dancing. Solo dancing we've just mentioned with the shows and the competitions and the performances. And the group dancing, which we'll get to in a bit. But the solo dancing is further divided into light shoe dances and heavy shoe dances. The light shoe dances are more balletic by nature, and the heavy shoe dances are percussive. And here is an example of both. So now we're going to show you some additional light shoe dances. We're starting with the light jig. The light jig, well, it's a jig, so it's in 6/8 time signature. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the light jig has something called the rising step in it. Now the rising step takes two forms. The sink and grind, can you show that? That's down, up, and back to the down, up, and back to 3, 4. Again, down, up, and back to 3, 4. So that one stays on the right foot. And the other rising step is called the rise and grind, and it alternates feet. So it's up and back to 3, 4, hop up, hop back to 3, 4. So this light jig that she's about to do will have both of those in it, you will see. It's fast, so hang on to your hat. That was Marie dancing the light jig for you. We're now going to do the single jig, so if y'all want to get that lined up. So a single jig is also in 6/8 time signature. The difference is musically, it has kind of more of a swing to it. So an example of a single jig that you would be familiar with is Pop Goes the Weasel. Kind of has a swing, a little left. You want to go ahead and walk on out. And also in the single jig, you won't see that rising step. There's no da 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 da, which is what the rising step musically in a light jig. The single jig. Okay, now we're going to dance some light shoe reels for you. The very first number we did was also a reel. Reels are in common time or 4/4 time. Most of the steps in Irish dance are 8 bars. So with a reel, that would sound like 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 5, 2, 3, 6, 2, 3, 7, 2, 3, and 8, 2, 3. And most of the steps are done on the right and left foot. So you're going to see 3 different reels. So Nevy and Haley and Kate are going to start with 1. If y'all want to come on out. And you're going to recognize Marie's also going to dance a third reel, and she danced that same piece, one of the 8-bar steps in that first number that we did. So you might recognize that. But here we go, 3 different light reels. Okay, the last light shoe dance we're going to show you is a slip jig. So slip jig is in 9/8 time signature. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Dancers count it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's how we count it when we're dancing it. And historically, slip jigs were originally danced by men. In fact, all the dances were. The traveling dancing masters would go from town to town and stay in someone's home in exchange, and get room and board in exchange for teaching folks in the town dance steps. So, as I said, all the dances were originally danced by men, but nowadays the slip jig is usually only danced by females. So this is Jamie doing a slip jig. Now we're going to move to the heavy shoe solo dancing and dances. This class is relatively new to Irish dance. And when you start learning Irish dance, you start with the light shoe dances. So that's why you're seeing less heavy shoe dances and more light shoe dances. However, the reel that we did, the very first number where we showed you both the light and heavy dances, we were all doing heavy reel steps. We just weren't wearing the shoes. Now, which are quite an investment, by the way. So in addition to starting after light dances with heavy dances, you also have to, get the shoes. And they are expensive. So Marie's going to dance a treble jig for you now, and she has these shoes on right now, the heavy shoes. They are, unlike tap shoes with metal taps on the bottom or metal plates on the bottom, they are raised up wooden or fiberglass tips and heels to make the percussive sounds from the shoes. And as I said, she's going to do a treble jig. It is a jig, so it is also in 6/8 time signature, just like the other light shoe jigs that you saw. But the music is slowed down to fit more beats into the step, more batters, to make the steps more interesting. The feet literally become a percussion instrument. I think that's it. You've seen what they look like, and now you're going to watch her dance a treble jig. Okay, the next, Marie's going to also dance a hornpipe next, but there's traditional hornpipe, which is in 4/4 time, like a reel. But in addition to that solo traditional hornpipe, we're going to be dancing. We're going to start into the social group dances next, and this will be a nice segue because Kate and Nevy and Satya and Haley are going to be dancing a dance called the Stack of Barley, which is also the name of a tune, kind of around Marie while she's dancing the hornpipe in the middle. If you want to go ahead and set it up. So the Stack of Barley is a ceilidh dance, and I'll explain about those later, but if this was being danced at a ceilidh, which is like a big old Irish dance party, the couples would dance this dance in an anti-clockwise fashion around the hall. So this is a traditional hornpipe and the Stack of Barley. We're going to move into the ceilidh dances, so the fairy three-hand will be next, ladies. Okay, so ceilidh dances. So group social dances are, in the Irish dance tradition, are largely divided into two groups, ceilidh dances and set dances. And we'll talk about the set dances later. But ceilidh dances, or ceilidh, originally meant a gathering of neighbors at a house at night to have a chat and an enjoyable time together. It was some time before music and dancing became part of the ceilidh, and now a ceilidh has come to mean a gathering for the purpose of enjoyment, dancing traditional Irish dances to traditional Irish music played by a group of musicians. Ceilidh dancing was invented by the dancing masters for those who were not able to easily do the solo dancing, the step dancing, because the footwork in these ceilidh dances is very basic solo light shoe dancing steps. The ceilidh dances consist of dances that are meant for anywhere from 2 to 16 people actually, and they're also progressive dances where any large number of people can participate. We're going to show you some of both. Okay, so, and also ceilidh dancing, just like the solo dancing, has evolved to where it is also seen in performance and competition. All right, so we're going to line up for the fairy reel, and the fairy reel is a traditional ceilidh dance. It is actually a progressive dance, so you can see that they're 3 facing 3. And if we were at a ceilidh, they would dance together and they would pass through and dance with the next oncoming trio of dancers and so on until they got down the hall to the end of the hall. Now what we're going to do is, because they're just there are not very many of us, we're going to pass through and turn around and dance it one more time back the other direction. But what we're going to dance in between that is a three-hand figure dance. It's a three-hand reel that was created and meant to go with the fairy reel, so that if you got all the way to the end of the hall and before you turned around and came back, you would dance this three-hand figure dance that they're going to do. And the movements kind of match up with what's happening in the fairy reel. So figure dances, which are also seen in competition and performance, are created or choreographed. They're not traditionally set. And so this particular one was choreographed by Marianne McGrath Swaim out of New Orleans. And I think that's about it. So we're going to do the fairy reel into the three-hand, back into the fairy reel. Okay, so that was an example of a ceilidh dance, and now we're going to move to set dancing. So set dancing is rural in origin, but now can be found in urban centers in Britain, Europe, Australia, Japan, North America, and Ireland. It is danced in sets of 4 couples or half sets of 2 couples, and it's the predecessor to our country square dancing. It too has evolved where it can be found in performances and competitions. The shoes worn were originally leather-bottomed everyday street shoes, but now almost anything goes, from ordinary street shoes to jazz or character shoes to metal pieces being added to the bottom of the shoes like mine, or even heavy shoes, the heavy shoes that Marie had on to emphasize the beats and battering in some of the dances. The ones we're doing today, you're not going to see very much battering. And the music that set dancing uses, lots of different kinds. You'll see dances to reels, jigs, hornpipes, slides, polkas, and waltzes. Many of the set dances have 2 to 7 figures dance sequentially with a stop in between figures. And such is the case with this one. We're going to do the Shona Waltz next. Also, these dances are often named after the towns where they originated. And this one is called, well, this is the waltz figure from the Shona set. Now, Shona means Shannon in Irish. And this set was created in Limerick, through which the Shannon River runs. Now, there's something unique about this dance. I'm going to be dancing this one too. We are the gents, or the faux gents in this case. And the brooms are going to be the ladies. This kind of came about when we were short some personnel in a performance in the past. And but we kind of like it, and we've kept it. It's kind of an audience favorite, and the swish sound that the brush makes kind of adds to the rhythm of the whole thing. So I think you're going to enjoy it. Oh, speaking of which, so I said that we're the faux gents, and then the brooms are the ladies. So when we line up, you'll see that gents are on the left, and ladies are on the right. And why is that? Because ladies are always, there you go. Don't forget that, especially you gentlemen out there. All right, so this is the waltz figure of the Shona set. So next we're going to dance a polka for you, a set dance called the Ballyvorney set. Ballyvorney is a town that borders the Cork-Kerry border in the southwest of Ireland, and that's where this set hails from. So it is 6 figures, but again, we're doing a little something to it to make it more interesting for performance. So all the 6 figures will be danced, but it's going to be put together in one dance, kind of squished together, shortened. So in a lot of these set and ceilidh dances, and a lot of the social group dances, there is something called a body, which is like a chorus that repeats, and figures, which are like verses. And so this has 6 different figures, and then a body that repeats. See if you can pick out the body. And actually, it was the same body that we just danced in the Shona waltz. It just sounds and looks a little different because of the footwork from a waltz to a polka. But anyway, we're ready for the, am I dancing this? Yeah, I am. Okay, here we go.
Okay. So the last set dance we're going to do is called the Waltz Cotillion. It does not have a body or a figure in this one, but what this one does do is each gent, or in this case faux gent, is going to start there's 4 different rotations of the dance, and a new gent, or faux gent, will show the lady. So we'll kind of show his lady, or her lady in this case, at the beginning of every new rotation of the dance. So if you want to go ahead and walk on in. Okay, so if y'all want to get warm for a little bit, I'm going to show them a little bit of the regional traditional dancing and maybe take some question and answers if we have some time, and then we'll perform our one last number, okay? So I'm going to tell you a little bit about, so we talked about solo dancing, heavy shoe and light shoe. And in the heavy dance category, there are regional traditional styles. So I'm going to tell you about those and then show you a couple. And they are based on the provinces of Ireland. So there's Ulster in the north, Munster in the south, Leinster in the east, and Connacht in the west. Now Ulster, the style that was there is very much akin to English clogging, but it is virtually non-existent anymore, or essentially non-existent. Now, in Leinster doesn't really actually have a style associated with it, but it is where the Irish Dancing Commission is seated, and at the capital in Dublin, or in the capital of Dublin. And the Irish Dancing Commission, on Commission La Rinchi Gaelica, it regulates the competitive step and Cayley dancing at Alla Fasciana. Any traditional dance is kind of considered to have a Dublin version, or really actually some sort of derivation of the Munster version, Munster being in the south, which I will talk about in a minute. But I'm going to tell you now about the West. So really the two styles of the regional traditional that you can see now is in the south and in the west. And in the west is the province is Connacht, specifically from Connemara. It is the ancestor and resembles our Appalachian clogging and flat-footing. The music steps are predominantly reels, although jigs have become popular and the rare hornpipe or polka is used. It's kind of wild and raw. The arms are allowed to swing freely. Use of the heels and heel accent is common. And I kind of describe it as like down and dirty. And the steps are sort of danced into, because the steps are sort of danced into the ground. So this is a sean-nós, and usually they're not choreographed. Usually they're just done ad lib, kind of. This one, because we have done it for performance, I've put it together in a certain way with certain steps. Now, the last time I danced this was right here last year. So I'm not promising you I'm going to get it correct, the sequence, but I'm hoping that you'll at least be able to see the difference in the style, and we'll just, go from there. Okay. So again, that was a sean-nós. Sean-nós is the style found in the West. Now I'm going to show you this same, what am I trying to say? Disclaimer is that I haven't done it since last year. Disclaimer, that was the word I was looking for. So this is the old style, which is from the Munster, from the South. This is where all the dancing, Cork, Kerry, Limerick, this is where all the dancing masters were from back when. And it is the style that became what is modern competitive, all the stuff you saw, modern competitive dancing and the performance dancing and stuff you've seen us do on the front end. This is where it came from. So where the sean-nós is like kind of a lot of heels and kind of down, the Munster version is, or the old style is more on the balls of the feet. Now, back then it wasn't way up like it is now in performance, in competition, but the weight is more on the balls of the feet. So this particular dance is called St. Patrick's Day, dance to the tune St. Patrick's Day. And it is a set dance, meaning it is set to this tune, and it's an old style version of this dance. So this would have been one that the old dancing masters did and taught. So I'm going to attempt to remember how that one goes. See, at least you can see the style of it, and then one more thing by comparison, and then I'll take some questions and answers. So this is an old style from the South, from Munster, St. Patrick's Day. Okay, so I almost made it. All right, now this one I should do better. This is the St. Patrick's Day that if you went anywhere, almost anywhere in the world, and played the music, this is what you would see. Maybe a slight variation here or there in a step or two, a movement or two, but mostly it's the same. It is done in competition, and normally you would wear the heavy shoes that Marie had on. I'm just wearing my set shoes with taps. But this one, you can see it's up and higher and off the ground, and it's going to wear me out. So that's why I'm doing it last. And then we'll take questions and answers, okay? So this is modern competitive although traditional St. Patrick's Day. We have about 20 minutes. Are there any questions anybody has for me or for any of the students? Anything? Yes. So, not in this class currently. St. Andrews has only offered dance as a fine arts elective. This is the second year. And so I'm kind of growing that program. I'd love to see men, certainly with Irish dancing, it would. I'm actually a part of, Maria and I are both a part of another group called Jackson Irish Dancers in Jackson. And there are lots of men that have come in and out of there over the years. But in fact, we just went to Dallas to the North Texas Irish Festival last weekend and performed. We had our own performances, but we also performed with them. And yes, there were 3 or 4 in that group of, I think, 10 or so. So certainly yes, and in competitions, you definitely see men, young men. There aren't very many older men doing it, but you see a few ladies that are over 18. You don't see a ton of men that are over 18. So, but for our class, yeah, that's kind of where we are. Anything else? Nobody has any questions? Yes. Okay, I heard, are you traveling overseas? So I have traveled overseas. I lived in Ireland for a year and a half. Actually, I was there on a Fulbright and studied Irish dance, and that's where I got qualified to teach Irish dance. In fact, I'm certified to teach. I took the Gaelic speaking portion of the exam so that I could be qualified to teach in Ireland. So, and then after that, And Marie was, who's 15 now, was 2, less than 2, because, she was able to go free on the international flight. And but I was pregnant with my son, Sam, and we took some of the Jackson Irish Dance folks over, and we actually competed at I think it was the All Ireland's in Killarney. So I've done that once, taking folks to competition. We also did some other competitions in New Orleans and Little Rock, but primarily the Jackson Irish Dancers are a performance group, not competitive. But so it's entirely possible. In fact, we've got a school trip coming up to Ireland and Scotland and London, and so who knows? Maybe that'll happen. Anything else? Anybody else? Oh. How heavy are the heavy shoes? Why don't you go bring them to? Yeah, I mean, they're, I'll be interested to see what you think. Straight back. They're made of leather. It's just that the pieces that are heavy are going to be the tips and the heels. It's not super heavy, but. So I haven't priced them. I haven't priced them well over $100, like probably closer to $200. I haven't had them in a long time, so they're not cheap. And to be honest, though she's got mine on, I had from doing all this for so long, I had foot surgery on my left foot. From when you learn Irish dance, you learn everything on the right foot. And then the teacher says, go home and do it on the left. And so, but you learn everything. So you're standing on your left the whole time. And so right there at that crease where that tip was, you saw where the tip was, I ended up having a bone spur that had to be removed. And so I have put those shoes on one time for a kind of important performance with Eric that y'all have met, that they've danced with. At JA, it was some famous Irish musicians had come into town, and they needed a couple of dancers. So I put it on and prayed and got through that. But other than that, I don't wear those anymore. That's why I wear these set shoes and just put the taps on the bottom of them. So, it's just like dancers get ballet dancers that have problems with their feet and hips. And, same thing happens with Irish dancers. It's a lot. It's very heavy. You can see it's very heavy on the bottom half of the body, the legs and the feet. Arms aren't used much. That's just the style, except when you're doing social dancing, So, anything else? How are we doing on time? Okay, so we're going to finish up with, for our last selection, it is a Sharon Shannon, who's a Irish artist. This is one of her songs called A Bag of Cats. And it's just some reels. Everything you're going to see in here, you've already seen today. You're going to see some light shoe reels. You're going to see a piece of the piece of the 3-hand that we did with the fairy, and you're going to see those heavy reels that we did at the very beginning. Okay. So, but this is kind of a fun way to end, and we've enjoyed being here. Thanks to Elizabeth, wherever she is, and the Max for inviting us and having us again. Thanks for coming out and enjoying this beautiful day and beautiful weather, and I hope everybody enjoys the rest of your day. Thanks again. So we're St. Andrew's Episcopal School, Jackson, Mississippi.